Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Total Body Fuel. Neal, that's Tyler.
What it is.
What's up? How are you?
I'm excited, man. I've been waiting on this one for a while. Got my man Geoff Collins coming on.
Yeah, Geoff Collins going to join in a minute. Austin Blancett already with a super chat. Thanks, Austin. He says, hey, guys, hope you're both doing well. With Colorado going to the Big 12, got to ask you guys what's your prediction on who's the next to leave. I think multiple will leave. The ones that I'm really fascinated by right now are Washington and Oregon. Just might jump Big 12. They might hit the panic button. They might go, you know what? Could wait for the really pretty girl. She might, the most beautiful girl at school might go with us to the prom, but she might not. And the one over there, she's pretty good looking. Maybe more fun. And she will go.
I got a hot take for you. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. And apparently it is just me because everybody, like I know you looked at our list today and didn't see anything about Colorado today.
Yeah. You're not interested?
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
I could give two fucks.
Really?
About conference realignment.
I always find conference realignment fascinating. Like, of all the stuff that happens, I'm interested in that the most.
As much as you like golf,
yeah,
that's how much I care about conference realignment. I mean, who cares? I mean, like, it's
fascinating.
But listen, every since we've been doing this show, and you know how much I hate conference realignment. Every FBS football team we've talked about, hey, could be going to Big Ten, could be going to ACC, could be going to SEC. Like, you literally go through every single school and how about this? Just when it's time for them to start playing the conference schedule, then we can say, hey, new additions. Like, I don't even want to talk about Texas and Oklahoma being the SEC yet. Next year, when they're at SEC Media Days and we're talking about their SEC schedule, and this is, hey, okay, we'll talk about it. But I mean, Colorado may have 7 different new head coaches by the time they actually play a Big 12 conference game.
You're just grouchy.
I've been told that today.
You are.
I'm not, though. I feel great.
Mood.
I'm just tired of all the bullshit. Started with my aliens last night, so I'm tired of all the bullshit.
We might talk some aliens.
Yeah,
today.
if we got time today, we'll talk about some aliens.
I'm with you on this alien thing, by the way. 1,000,000%. Like, why are we not? I mean, this should be a big deal.
You'll hit the button so we can we can talk about aliens before Jeff gets on here.
Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Thursday afternoon. It's July the 27th. Most preseason camps begin in about a week, so we're getting close to football. I guess the teams that do week 0 games, they'll get started this weekend.
Like we have footballs flying 7 days from today.
Yeah.
That'd be the Giants and the Browns in the Hall of Fame game.
Oh, is that already a week away?
7 days away, boss.
You are kidding.
Yeah, I'm giddy.
How about that?
Like, this is what my like I'm ready to go.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're
got a little juice.
Glad you're in a good mood. Glad you're happy.
And I got my
I like
Rain Kiwi blend today too.
I cheer for you and your happiness. You know that. We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 200 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, and 0 sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. Former Temple and Georgia Tech coach, longtime defensive coordinator Geoff Collins will join in about 10 minutes or so. We'll talk with him, and we'll go over the SEC East question marks. We did SEC West question marks on Monday. So
I think he's going to do that with us too.
Oh, Jeff's going to do East question marks with us.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
And we'll talk about it. I guess we'll give a little bit of, I'll do a big introduction when it gets here, but I've known Geoff for a long time, coached against him. I guess that's when I first started, knowing him, and we recruited the same area. So I got to meet him on the road. And this has been a long time ago when he was at, I think FIU may have been the first time that we started, getting to know each other, but just a stud of a human being. Unbelievable ball coach. Great. He's a top 3 defensive mind in my generation. for sure, easy. Phenomenal recruiter, the whole deal. He's been a head coach, and I've been trying to get him on because he'll be a great, phenomenal interview. He's just a stud. I'm excited we're getting him on. But he, I'll wait. We'll tell some stories when he gets on here.
So yesterday in the halls of Congress, in the capital of our nation, people under oath, former heads of like departments and stuff, said that not only have we discovered alien spacecraft, but that we have also retrieved biological matter from non-humans in that craft.
This is probably I'm a little edgy, right?
I got to tell you,
I was telling your Laura
when we were kids, that's a big story.
Yeah, when I was walking in the door, I saw Laura, your wife, and I said, I think I'm having like the last 48 hours. I'm having this. I feel like I'm the old man, not old man yelling at cloud. I'm like old man yelling at cloud, get off my lawn, and who's the guy driving fast down the street with his music loud?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about an article here in a minute. It's just like I go home yesterday. I see the stuff on social media while I'm at work yesterday.
Yeah.
So I go home. I told you I've turned away from the news, right?
Right.
But I do record NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt in case I want to watch something. I understand it's always been a very liberal network.
It's okay. Pick your thing.
I like Lester Holt.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like there's part of me that goes, man, that voice makes me feel like he's telling me the truth. You know what I mean?
I got you.
It's just the voice.
I got you.
Call me weird.
I got you. He's talented anchor.
I get on expecting to. Let's see what my man Lester Holt has to say about aliens today. First lead story was Hunter Biden, which this is when I was in Twilight Zone, was the Hunter Biden plea deal. Well, I'm thinking they're going to take up for Hunter Biden. No, I thought I was watching Fox News. They're burying the Bidens. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
Second story is the heat wave. We got a heat wave, going on.
Summer.
Then we had
every summer.
Shocker. It's August. Or it's July. It's about to be August. It's hot outside. Ha ha. All right. Then we go to inflation, and the interest rates got raised yesterday. And then we go to a story about a cop releasing a dog on a guy. Nowhere in the mention of a 30-minute news segment, nowhere mentioned was that in Congress, a government official
under
oath admits that not only do we have crashed spacecraft, but we retrieve the bodies that are non-human out of those spacecraft. Nowhere to be seen. Like, what the hell are we doing?
It feels like that should be the lead.
I mean, this is a big story. It doesn't even make the 30-minute window. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I don't know. I don't get it.
I'm sorry, Mom. That's 2 F-bombs in the first 11 minutes.
It's aliens.
Oh, there's my guy already.
There's your guy.
He's ready to talk aliens. But what are we doing? He heard the second F-bomb. He came in for the rescue is what it was. There he is. Geoff, can you hear me?
Hey, Geoff, can you hear us?
I can.
Oh, okay, good. Your boy Tyler here is very worked up. He's very upset. Maybe you can bring him. You can get him off the edge. He's very concerned about his friend Lester Holt at NBC Nightly News not diving into the discovery of alien bodies from alien spacecraft that did not make the news yesterday, and Tyler's very upset about it.
Understandable. I get it.
I mean, we got heat waves, we got recessions, we got interest rates, we got Hunter Biden, but no aliens. I mean, I don't know what kind of world we're getting to there, Geoff.
Look at that. I fixed it.
Look at that. Techno guru. Well, let me give my man Geoff a proper interview here. Okay. Intro here.
I'm just excited I fixed something. I'm so excited right now. I don't know what to do.
It's amazing.
I know. Go ahead.
So we have Geoff Collins, the former head football coach at Georgia Tech, former football coach at Temple, former defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, former defensive coordinator at the Florida Gators and the FIU Panthers. And I'm going to embarrass him here. I did this before you got on, but I'll do it in front of everybody. One of the top 3 defensive minds, I think, in my generation, just is difficult to prepare for. And as I would like to say, he's also the minister of mayhem.
I appreciate it, Tyler.
How we doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. I appreciate
right.
y'all having me on. I know we've tried to do this for a while, so I'm glad I finally got to get on here.
I'm curious because this is a summer where you're not grinding for a camp right now. I'm sure there's a part of you that misses it. Is there a part of you that will admit out loud that, you know what, this isn't so bad for just a kind of a mental break? I mean, I've seen pictures of some head coaches, and I was just at SEC Media Days, and I watched them walk through, and some of those cats look like they have been through like a lot of trauma in the last few weeks, and you look young and refreshed, and your skin's glowing. I mean, you look good. I mean, you got to feel good, right?
I feel great. I will admit, with SEC Media Days and Big Ten Media Days happening right now, the juices start flowing because this will be the first time I've not been in a preseason football camp since I was 14 years old. So the natural rhythm and biological kind of deal it's kicking in pretty heavy right now. I literally just got a text from my wife. She's off with my daughter doing some errands. Hey, are you okay? You seem a little amped up this morning. And I'm like, no, baby, I'm good. We're all good. But so the juices are flowing. But I did, and I think I've told Tyler this in a text message. I took my first June vacation in 27 years with my wife and our 7-year-old to Disney, and it was amazing. And just the first 2 weeks of July, we were down on 30A, and I didn't know that you could go on vacation and literally shut it down, turn it off, and just enjoy your family. And it was pretty good, man.
Hey, I will tell you this. I've told him this privately, but the August is weird. August is very weird. And my first August, I felt like I was Ricky Bobby on Talladega Nights. I was like, what do I do with my hands? I didn't know what to do. But I really struggled. I did, honestly. I personally struggled through. I was fine all the way up until August. I personally struggled in August because my friends were working, so I didn't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
It's the only friends you have is football, right? And so everybody was working, so they didn't want, you're not bothering them. First half of the first game on Saturday, first window, I think we lost him.
Oh, we sure did.
But anyway, the first half of the first game on Saturday, there he goes. Jeff, that was the government talking about aliens, and
it's those aliens again, bro.
They're coming to get you.
Yeah.
But the first half of the first game of the season, I was like, oh, I was so lost. And then at halftime, I went to the refrigerator, got a beer, ordered a pizza. And I was like, man, this is not so bad. This is not so bad.
Right.
All right. So I want to get into it. Jeff is for the people that don't know, Jeff, he is, in my opinion, he also, besides being one of the best defensive minds, he's one of the best recruiters out there in the game, period. And I know recruiting is obviously very important to you. Even when you were a head coach, it was a priority for you. It was something you did.
Sure.
I want to talk a little bit about the new age of recruiting and how things have changed, because you and I, you're a little bit older than me, but we kind of grew up in the business at the same time in the same area, and how it's changed. Let's talk a little bit about the new age of recruiting with money, versus NIL versus evaluations versus relationships, and how bad evaluations can hurt you in this NIL world.
Sure. Yeah. And it's obviously changed in just 2 years, just monumentally changed. But I think, and you and I both, grew up under Saban a little bit. The evaluation is critical. The evaluation, then the reevaluation, and then reevaluating again, your evaluation, and then everybody else's evaluation. That's got to be first and foremost with every single thing, regardless of the landscape of college football recruiting. You better be right on the evaluations of your guys that you bring in, whether it be a 5-star that is stamped and, all the things that you know about the young man are valid, or, we've all done this, the diamond in the rough, the guy that we find that nobody really knows about, you better be right on that evaluation too. And then once the evaluation is correct, the building of the relationships, getting to know everybody that has any form of influence on the young man that you want to join the program. And then the next piece is the offers and the NIL piece and all those other things that will start to come into it. But the evaluations and the relationships still have to be the first two things that you focus on.
All right, let me ask you this, and I'm wrong because I haven't actually. I don't think we've talked about this. I don't. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, because he'll actually go back into coaching. I'm retired. So I'm very adamant, and there's not very many people that are, I guess, in public that will talk about it, but everyone wants to talk about it in private, about eliminating the one-time free transfer rule, going back to what it used to be to help curb all this, the tampering, the money issues and all that stuff.
Sure.
Your feelings on eliminating that as a possible solution to all this crazy shit?
Yeah, and I've thought about this a lot. I think that once that has been opened and been a thing that is now happening and afforded to student athletes, I got to imagine that's going to be hard to put back in the box and not, go back to capping that, but I do think there are some things that can happen with NIL and putting guardrails on that. I know people are trying, but hopefully the people that have say in the game and understand what's happening in real life situations can be able to be involved in those conversations to make it better for everybody, the student athletes first, and then, for the game as well.
All right, I make you the czar. You've got the power. What do you try to do? What are the guardrails that you try to put in place to sort of make it work?
Tyler, you said this was going to be fun, man. You didn't tell me I was going to be on the hot seat. Goodness gracious. I've become the czar of college football all of a sudden.
Hey, we can go back to talking about aliens because I'm interested.
Yeah, aliens are coming next. We're trying.
And then the next one we'll get to is, what do you think happened to Kennedy? Do you think Oswald acted alone, or do you think there was someone in the grassy knoll? We can go there too, Geoff. I mean,
how about that?
We're here for whatever you want to do. We can even talk favorite beers. Wherever you want to go, we can go. But I agree with Tyler, by the way, and yet I agree with what you just said. And he gets mad at me, I think, or frustrated with me.
I don't get mad.
We just lost him. He's like, I'm out.
He's like,
peace out.
Aliens, I'm out.
What I was going to say was I just think it's the toothpaste out of the tube thing. I think that toothpaste is out of the tube.
You must not have Northeast Spark over there.
I'm checked out. What I was saying was, I think Geoff, the toothpaste is kind of out of the tube on the transfer thing. I just don't know that you can back on it. I think the toothpaste is out of the tube and smeared all over the walls, and it's crusted, and you're not getting that back in that thing. So I don't know. I'm not as hopeful as all these other people that it can be, quote, fixed, end quote. I'm like, I just think everybody's just going to have to figure out a way to adapt, because I think it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, my whole deal is that something has to be put back in the tube. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, everything's out on the damn table. You gotta clean it up somehow, and then something something in some area has to be put back in the tube. That's just I guess that's my.
Or you got to go behind the tube.
You just start. That's what I'm saying. Just burn it and start on a whole new deal. All right, let's get to the fun stuff. All right. Hardest offensive coordinator that you've ever had to defend, in your opinion? Who is the hardest one to prepare for, hardest one you've ever had to defend as a defensive coach? Because I'm curious, because this guy's he's hard to go against.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. But I would think over the years, because I've gone against him so many times, would have to be Hugh Freeze. From back when you guys were at Arkansas State, I was at FIU. Then the Egg Bowl rivalries that we got into. And then when I was the DC at Florida, one of my best games as a defensive play caller was that year in the Swamp, top-ranked teams. Hugh had just hung, I think, 50 on Bama the week before. And, they came into the Swamp and we won 38-10. And I'm still upset about the 7 points that got hung on us with 5 minutes left in the game. Anyway, but I think he's one of the best play callers, designers of offense, complementary pieces, using personnel, all of those things that I've gone against.
I got to tip my hat to you, Geoff, because I was in the swamp that night. I was covering that game. That was a genius defensive plan.
I appreciate it.
And that was an offense that was pretty electric.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
I mean, they had lit some people up, and they lit some people up after that game. I mean, they could score
in a hurry.
They could score in a hurry and get rolling.
The funny thing, he had me laugh. You had me cracking up a minute ago. I just thought of something in my head. So, knew Geoff obviously when back in Arkansas State FIU days, right? And then Hugh gets the job at Ole Miss. Geoff gets a job at State. So Jeff's DC at State. Well, when we get there, he was like, "Hey, congratulations." We're both like, "I guess we can't talk to each other now." All right, and so. We go this whole time. We don't talk. We did the courtesy, that you shake hands, all that stuff when you see each other,
right.
All that stuff, right? The day I will never forget this as long as I live. I take the Alabama job, and I took it at I took it at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I packed my shit, turned my keys in, and I'm driving. I leave Oxford at 10:30, and I'm driving to Tuscaloosa. By 11 o'clock, I have a text message from Geoff that goes, "Hey, bud, congratulations. We can talk again."
That is 1,000% true story. Yep.
So I got to ask you this because, I mean, obviously you don't have any natural animus towards Ole Miss or whatever. I mean, it's football, right? You're coaching, and it's the polo that you wear that week. But it always feels like that thing gets super personal for people. Did that almost get instilled in you that, hey, this has to be personal, or did you just have to turn on some sort of an acting job, or what was? How's that?
No. After 4 years in Starkville, it was not an act. I drank the Kool-Aid. I still to this day have a hard time not calling that school the school up north. And so it was just, it was real. And, we happened to be on a roll. I think the last season I was there, 2014, both teams were in the top 10 most of the year. I mean, it was a magical. That
was the Oxford internet says, we don't want to hear this.
We got aliens interrupting. We got Ole Miss. Hey, Geoff, that was the Ole Miss fans hacking the system.
Well, I think that clip was going to be one that y'all used to cycle in the clip. And I think they just wanted to mess that up. So
they're getting us.
But it was just a magical time, and just the way the rivalry. It's easily one of the most competitive, personal rivalries that I've ever coached in, and I've coached in some good ones.
Do you think that's the most toxic rivalry you've ever been a part of?
100%. And I've said that anybody that comes into the house, I know you can't see it here, but I've got a Mississippi State section with my cowbell over here, my swag chalice from back in the day. It was real. I've coached in the Iron Bowl, and obviously no disrespect to that great rivalry and the passionate people that are involved in it. But I lived the Egg Bowl for 4 years, and it's real.
He is. I can't and he's probably the same way, but we're not fans of anybody. You know what I mean? We pull for the game and all that stuff. But I grew up, as everybody knows, I grew up an Auburn fan, right?
Yeah.
Worked at Alabama, which is kind of crazy. But you thought that was the rivalry, all rivalries growing up. It was a big deal and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I always like to describe it. If an Auburn fan was broke down on the side of the road, an Alabama fan drives by, they would stop by and pick you up and give you a ride. They probably wouldn't talk to you in the car, but they'd at least give you a ride.
They might poison your trees.
Yeah, they'll poison your trees, but they won't kill you. If a Ole Miss fan is on the side of the road and a Mississippi State, or vice versa, I'm not trying to make it vice versa, they stop by, instead of when they come out of the car to help you to change the tire, they're going to hit you over the head with a tire iron and then leave you on the side of the road. It is toxic, man. It is toxic. All right, let me get back to here. Worst visiting locker room you've ever been to?
You got to remember that I coached Division III ball for 2 years.
I know.
I coached in the FCS and have tremendous pride, for those experiences. But I think we're in SEC country, so I'm going to stick to the SEC on that one. I'd have to go with Missouri. And why it's up a hill, and you could say it's up a hill both ways, whatever, but it's very segmented. There's no centralized area to gather the team or gather the defense. And it might be the nicest people that you're ever going to meet. The second you land in Columbia, Missouri, everybody's welcome to Missouri, welcome to Columbia. So glad you're here. You're walking to from the locker room down to the field. Every person wearing the black and gold or black and yellow is like, welcome to Columbia. So glad you're here. I hope you have a great day. And then you're walking up and down a hill into a little segmented locker room. So,
do you think that's people playing? Because this pisses me off. Do you think people are playing mind games with you when they do that? Because it's like Nebraska, right? When you go to Nebraska, it's like they're too nice. Like it almost pisses you off that they're so nice.
Andrew Luck, when he got hit, he would say, "Hey, great hit, man."
Yeah, great hit.
Great rush.
That bothers me.
Right. But it was like in the hotel. So glad you're here. Welcome to Columbia. And I'm like, is this real? But
all right, best bowl game that you've been to as far as fun, not how the game went, but just the activities around the bowl game for the family, kids, whatever. Best bowl game you ever went to, most fun you had.
So that's an easy one. The Seattle Bowl in 2001 or 2001. I think it might be the last one. Absolutely amazing experience. Seattle's beautiful. You're playing in the Mariners Stadium. We were in the right corner of the end zone, so we weren't at the 50-yard line. Both teams were on the same sideline. They had cinders of the infield instead of putting dirt or fake turf. It was the actual cinders that the guys would get scraped up on. But the experience, the bowl game, and we did get a dub. That was a pretty good bowl game.
But I learned in my bowl experience, it depends on who your head coach is.
Yeah.
Okay. So that yeah, this is great. But if you ask he'll be on in 10 seconds. If you ask my kids what their favorite bowl game was, like you can go ask my kids, right? If you
Tyler, you brought this up, so I didn't bring this up organically as I'm explaining this story. But another thing that made it wonderful, Coach O'Leary had just gotten the Notre Dame job at the end of the regular season. So he's in South Bend, Indiana, as we're getting ready to play the bowl game. And we went out to Seattle with Mac McCorder as the interim head coach. I love George O'Leary, love him to death. I think he's an amazing mentor, an amazing coach. But Mac McCorder made that bowl experience. We had an absolute blast.
Well, so for my family, if you ask my kids today, their favorite bowl game they've ever been to, Sugar Bowl, college football playoff, all that stuff, it'll be the Birmingham Bowl. That's their favorite because of the game room and all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Of all the bowl games. But mine as a coach was the Arizona Bowl.
Really?
Because Joey, we would practice in the mornings. He told us, he says, you have from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock to eat with your players and have your position meeting. We're getting on the bus. We're going to practice from 9 to 11. We're getting home, and there is no football activities afternoon. No meetings, no film watching, no nothing. So at 12 o'clock, and we were staying at the La Paloma Resort, which is, and it's January, right? Or it was, late December. So it's cold everywhere else.
That's in Tucson, right?
It's in Tucson.
Okay.
We played golf. We had a tee time at noon, and we played golf till dark every day on this beautiful golf course. And we were out there for like 4 or 5 days. It was freaking great.
That's great.
Great from a coach's standpoint.
Yeah.
All right. What this is another question I like talking to coaches about. If you had not coached football, what do you think you would have done for a profession for a living?
I don't know what I would have done, to be honest with you. I did an internship in corporate fitness. I was an exercise science major at Western Carolina University. I did an internship at Georgia Pacific right here in downtown Atlanta in their corporate fitness facility, and learned pretty quick that was not for me. And luckily I had a job offer to be a GA where I played, and I just kind of did that.
He's like everybody else. It's like, you may have an answer, but you really have there was no plan B. So
none.
Just go work it out. All right. Let me ask you this. All right. So we kind of talked a little bit about it earlier, but what's the thing that you missed the most? It's like a 2-part question here. The thing you missed the most about coaching, okay, and the thing you missed the least. So
the thing I missed the least is the time away from my family. That's an easy one. The thing I miss the most is the relationships with the players, the relationships with the coaches, shared adversity, shared joy, the experience that you go through building a team, building a program. That's the thing that, and I'm blessed that I've had so many great relationships and coached so many great players that on a daily basis, I'm talking to my guys and they're reaching out to me. So I stay connected that way. But there's just something special of being in a locker room, being in a meeting room, being with your defensive coaching staff, being with your coaching staff as a whole, being with your players. It's special. So if there's anything, it's that.
Are you going to visit around this year, sort of turn this into a chance to sort of, I don't know, get some new ideas, some fresh perspectives, just to kind of take some things in and let some stuff marinate in your mind a little?
Yeah, 100%. I did that during the spring, went to a bunch of places. And, it's nice having so many good relationships with people. And kind of like Tyler probably has, you get open access and sit in meetings, sit in staff meetings, team meetings, be right there on the grass wherever you want to go. So I've been able to do that throughout the spring. And then we'll do that during the preseason. I'm lining that up right now.
Do you already know of some things? Because look, you're going to get another opportunity. That's a given. Do you already know of some things that, hey, I probably will do something different, or will you? Is there in your mind, hey, there's a way I'm going to be selective about where I go next? Is there something specifically that you would be looking for or not looking for? He's like, I'm bolting on this question. He's like, I'm out.
He's probably on his iPad. He's getting calls or something.
Getting a hotspot or something.
Yeah.
I got saved again, boys.
It's perfect.
I was just curious. You don't have to answer that, but I was.
I appreciate it. I've done a lot of thinking. One of the biggest things is, once my time ended at the last place I was at, just the number of text messages, number of calls from dear friends, from mentors, even from people that I've never met or talked to a day of my life, got my number, reached out to me. Here's some things they went through and they did that really helped them, as they figured out what they want to do next. And, one of the biggest pieces and maybe even one of the hardest pieces is the self-reflection, looking inside, what could I have done better? At every single stop, learning from every single thing so that you can be the best version of yourself. And so I've spent a lot of time doing that. And I watch a ton of ball. I just have the SEC network and the Big Ten network. One of the most magical things is the Big Ten in 60. So they take a game and deduce it down to 60 minutes. They put it on fast speed. I'll hop on my Peloton and just watch Big Ten football for an hour. And it's been wonderful. So just the things that I've gone through, how to build a staff, the things that I would focus on and implement, whether it be a head coach, whether it be a defensive coordinator, or how I can be of service back to the game, because I've got close friends that are at high-profile spots that sometimes you just need a sounding board for somebody that's outside the program, that you can bounce some ideas off of. Obviously, I won't speak to who those people are, but it's nice to be a resource, for those guys going through similar things that I've gone through.
Who's your favorite Peloton instructor?
Dennis Morton is probably one. Alex Tucson is probably number two. Ben Aldis is probably number three. So,
you done any of Olivia's classes?
I do those three.
I end up screaming at her the whole time. I'm like, there is no way I can do the metrics you're telling me to do. And I mean, I feel like I'm in decent shape, and I'm like, this is utter insanity. And at the end of 45 minutes, you're just totally drenched, and you're like, that was a really good workout, but I hate you.
So one of my favorite things to do right now is I'll go on the scenic rides, and I'll pop in a 60-minute ride or a 90-minute ride. I'll put a college football game up on the TV, and I'll have a podcast or some kind of motivational speaker series, and I've got all kind of stuff going on. I've got 21 Pilots playing in the background, my podcast going, I'm watching football. This life right now is pretty good, pretty complex.
I like the setup. That's good. I do the outdoor runs to the Peloton thing, and the first time I did it, I'm like, this is stupid. And now when I go outside and run, I don't get anywhere near the same run if I don't do like almost a guided run where there's music and there's a person sort of talking. And every once in a while, they're like, hey, just remember to check your form. All right, let's pick up our pace a little bit right here. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And I'm like, I'm talking to nobody. There's nobody here, but I'm doing it. It's pretty fascinating.
All right. Yep. If you could take one play call back, okay, one play call in your entire career, if you had one play call you could take back, what would it be?
Yep. The one that haunts me to this day, we're in Jordan-Hare Stadium in 2013, and we're playing lights out on defense. We're having a heck of a game, low-scoring game. We're winning 3 or 4, I can't remember. It's less than 2 minutes in the game. They're backed up on the 20, and I don't play cover 2 once. And all Gus is doing is throwing a rollout into the flat, running out of bounds. And I did not play cover 2 one time. And that haunts me to this day. I was still playing man or trying to blitz still. And I wish I could just go back to that night and just hit them with 1 or 2 simple country cover 2. And it would have been a different outcome. Now, you'll like this story, Tyler. We fly back from Jordan-Hare. It's a 7:30 CBS night game, whatever. We get back to Starkville post-mid.
That was the Mississippi State fans pissed off and cut him out because
there's so many people with power over his internet.
I'm getting a hang of getting back on fast, boys.
That was the Mississippi State fans pissed off at you there, cutting your internet.
So what even the fans, Tyler? So we land in Starkville. I hop in my car, drive home. I walk in the front door, and my beautiful wife of now 27 years goes, "What were you doing in that 2-minute drill?" And I'm like, "Thanks, babe. Appreciate you." So, but that one haunts me now. Fast forward to the next year, we get the dub on College Game Day 3 versus 5. So I redeemed myself from that regard, but that one still hurts.
Did you play cover 2 that week?
I don't know that we had to. We didn't get in that situation. We had Dak and the fellas. I think we were up 21-0 with 5 minutes into the game. First play was
I remember that game.
Yep. First play, I run a little 4-man zone replace pressure. We get a pick. Dak and the guys score. The very next play, they run a boot to Vez Calhoun. Tackles the guy, rips the ball out. We get the ball. Dak and the guys score right away. So it's 21-0 before the band even got back to the stands. And and then we had to slug it out the rest of the way. But that was a good day.
Hey, how much did your wife know about football when you guys started dating and got serious and married? And compared to how much football does she know today?
Yeah, she knew none. And now she knows a bunch.
Hey, I commend you for that because I've been with my wife for 25 years now, and she didn't know shit when I met her, and she doesn't know shit now. I'm gonna get fired for that one. I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch tonight for that one. All right, before we get to the SEC,
I got 2 empty bedrooms up here. You can jump in one.
Thanks. I just don't want to sleep in the haunted one. All right, so this is my last, I guess, semi-serious question. Not really a serious question, but
I was gonna say, this is not a hard-hitting interview right now.
All right, you've worked for some legendary coaches. You worked for some of the best, and you've been a head coach now for probably last 5-7 years of your career. But let's take you back to your assistant days here, okay?
Okay.
All right, who of all your bosses gave you the best ass chewing?
There's some good ones now. I've already talked about Coach O'Leary. I'll have to tell some of those stories off the air. But he was relentless for work ethic and all those things. I think Dan Mullen ranks up there really good, with the level of intensity that he brought to the building every single day. It was 4th and 1 every single hour of every single day for 4 years that I was there, and I loved it. But the one I know, and you and I have shared some stories before, is Coach Saban. And my favorite, and I don't know if y'all remember this, but I think it was Clinton Dix went to work for him, right? Yeah. And I think that's who it was. And on the first day, he gets lit up, and he posted a tweet about, hey, I'm welcome to the fraternity. I got lit up on my first day coaching here. And if that's not who it is, I apologize.
I think it
but
is.
When he said that, I start dying laughing because I still remember my very first day. It's 10 a.m. staff meeting. And I'm assuming it's the same way when you were there as I was there. The director of player personnel sat directly in his line of sight. So he sat at one end of the staff room table, the director of player personnel face to face with him all day, every day. So you caught shrapnel every single day, regardless, because that's who he was going to look at, because everybody else was kind of on the periphery. So every ass ripping that was happening to anybody, you felt like you were getting it too, because you were right across from him. Anyway, my first day of work there, 10 a.m. staff meeting. I've been an Alabama employee for 2 hours now. I get lit up about the junior day plans that are happening this coming Saturday. I have no idea what we're doing for junior day or how junior day is going to operate.
That's Nick. That's Nick cutting this out. He's got to be on an iPad getting messages or calls or something.
That was going to be another viral one too that you guys were going to put out there. Anyway,
we got a good guy. Cole cut it.
I'm just getting lit up, and I'm like, okay, roll Tide, let's go.
I
figured it out quick.
That junior day was awesome, by God. You're damn right.
Awesome.
Yeah, it ran. I don't think I've never told this publicly. I technically got my first ash ripping less than 10 seconds after I officially took the job. So if I've told this, forgive me, because I don't think I have. So I had a tough time deciding what I was going to do, right? So I couldn't sleep the night before. And so I made my decision that it's like, whenever I wake up, I'm going to call whoever I'm taking. I'm either staying here or I'm going there. I'm either going to call Hugh and tell him I'm staying, or I'm going to call Nick and tell him I'm coming, in order to, so I don't have to I didn't want to play back and forth.
Right.
Okay. So I couldn't sleep. I didn't go to bed till and we were on spring break here at Ole Miss. And so I didn't have to work. We were off. I didn't go to bed till 5:30. I mean, I stayed up all night. I couldn't sleep. So at about 7:30, I wake up, my natural body wakes up, and I have 53 missed calls and everything else. And I got voicemails from I remember Lance Thompson was like, can't believe you won't answer his call. But I had my phone on silent, So I pick up the phone. I call Nick, and he's like, hello, Tyler. He always called. He refused to call anybody by nicknames. He called, Tyler. And so I was like, Coach, I'd like to accept the offer or whatever. And he's like, well, that's great. It was really nice. It was awesome. I was like, man, I felt great. He's like, hey, we're a family. Come here. I'm sending your wife's number to Miss Terry. She's going to call Aaron, all that stuff. It was great. And he goes, so when are you going to get here? All right. So this was on this was Wednesday morning. He says, when are you going to get here? And I said, well, Coach, we're on spring break here. I need to go take car back, keys back, all that stuff. He goes, that ain't how this shit works. We got people coming in. You go take your stuff, you drop it off. I'll see you here this afternoon. And so, dude, I freaking did. I was like, golly. I was like, I didn't call you and told him I called you and told him I was leaving yet. It was good stuff. But
hey, Tyler, it's funny how Lance Thompson's involved in several of my trips too now.
It's Lance's fault. So
he's the best. So
you'll like this. So Maryland's one of our new Quick U clients.
Yeah.
All right. So Lance Thompson's at Maryland. And the day after they signed up for Quick U, Lance was texting me like, hey, can we do this, do this? I said, hey, once you work with Lance, you always work with Lance. You're always working with him. So, all right. So you got we're going to get into the SEC East here in just a second, but I got a quick, since you've spent a lot of time in Atlanta, you're living there currently, spent a lot of time in Philly, and I see your shirt over there, and there's some comments in the chat about it already. Eagles or Falcons?
So I get this question all the time. Love any team from Atlanta. I'm born and raised here.
Oh,
any team from Atlanta. Philadelphia has a special place in my heart. But worked there, had a lot of success there. Love everything about that place. But this is a tradition I started about 10 years ago. Every single day once NFL preseason starts, I wear a different shirt of where my guys are playing at.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I've got Fletcher Cox, I've got Darius Slay, Sean Bradley is there, Fred Johnson, who played for us at Florida, Hassan Reddick. I didn't really coach him, but he and I became close the 2 years I was at Temple. A lot of respect for him. And then half of the defensive staff, are my guys. So every single day, like tomorrow, we'll be wearing another NFL, shirt. So
that's pretty cool, man. I didn't. That's a great thought. I like that.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna get into.
So how much? I'm curious. When you watch an NFL game on Sunday, how much pride do you take when it's one of your guys on the field or on a coaching staff or whatever, and you know that you played a role in that guy either getting on that coaching staff or that guy being at that level?
It's unbelievable amount of pride. Last year when the Eagles were rolling, they had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at the time too, who played nickel for me at Florida. So I half of the defense were.
So now the Eagles fans are pissed at him.
Why would they be upset? He was complimenting the Eagles.
Eagles fans get pissed.
That
about
was
everything.
more.
Eagles fans get pissed about everything.
That was probably
so about that.
The Eagles beat.
So half of that defense were guys that I had coached, had relationships with, and just the deeper that they went, it just a level of pride and their performance and their living out their dreams. It's just special.
All right, I'm really excited for this. Something we've been doing. We're starting now, but we went through the SEC West on Monday, and when I told you we were going to go through the SEC East, you were like, "Hey, I want to be a part of that." So we're going to go through the SEC East here, and back to being, and then we'll finish up with a lightning round here. But let's talk about questions and concerns for each team in the SEC East. Okay, we'll go around the deal. Do you want first shot at it there, Neal?
Sure.
All right, we'll go Neal, and then we'll go Geoff, and then I'll finish it up because I probably won't have a lot to say after Geoff gets done because we probably see things very similar. All right, so Neal, we'll start with Georgia. Questions and concerns about the Georgia Bulldogs.
I mean, I worry a little bit about whether they eat too much at the pregame meal and they just kind of feel full and don't maybe take an extra 2 minutes to kind of get going or something like that, or maybe the equipment guy dries the pants too hot. And it takes a minute to get them stretched out. That's about it.
No questions, concerns.
I mean, I worry that maybe they accidentally play the Eagles on Sunday instead of Florida or Tennessee or something. But no, I mean, otherwise, I mean, just I don't want like a flu outbreak or something. But I mean, otherwise, I like their chances to win another 74 games in a row.
Yeah,
roll on.
They're pretty solid. What you got, Geoff? The Georgia Bulldogs.
So I went, as a head coach, you don't get to go visit places very much, especially one that's in your own state. You don't have a open invitation to come watch practice.
Why not?
So I went during spring ball, and Kirby let me be in the meetings and be, all access to the practice. And I was so impressed. Kirby and I worked together in 2007, and I've always had a great deal of respect for what he's done in his career. But just being, front row and center to the team meetings, special teams meetings, defensive unit meetings, and then when they got out on the grass, just the way, the attention to detail, the level of execution, the level of expectation, it was palpable. The reason why, they've done as well as they have, especially over the last 2 years, and just seeing it, in person was impressive.
I was thinking when I was thinking about this before the show. How we did the most important opponent of the year, whatever, a couple weeks ago. For me, the most important thing for Georgia this year is Georgia. Like that's the enemy. The enemy is not any other team they're playing. If Georgia,
it's complacency.
Yeah. And I don't think they're going to be complacent because I know how Kirby is. I know that's what he fights. That's the opponent that he fights. He doesn't fight scheme. He doesn't fight Tennessee. He doesn't fight South Carolina. He's fighting Georgia. And if Georgia beats Georgia, then that's the only team that can beat them.
You guys would be able to correct me if I'm wrong here, but in my opinion, the key to Alabama's success over the last 16, 17 years, whatever it's been, beyond obviously the brilliance of Nick Saban, is that the level of competition inside the building is so intense that you can't afford to be complacent.
You lose your job.
Yep.
I mean, you lose your job, period. I mean,
and I think Kirby's built that in Athens.
Yeah, he's recruiting and going back to what Geoff was talking about earlier is the evaluation process. People get lost in the evaluation process,
right?
And he said the thing that I haven't said on here, but in my head I always talk about it is like you can't just evaluate a kid one time.
Yep.
You got to continue to evaluate. And he knows because he's worked with a guy. Nick Saban will evaluate a kid 5 minutes. I mean, he will continue to evaluate a kid until the name is on the dotted line or he's going somewhere else. I'm talking about I'm not going to tell who it is, but there's a kid that went to Alabama it is a all-pro safety in the NFL who's unbelievable. The day before signing day, he's deciding if he wants to take this kid's commitment or not. I'm like, well, coach, he's been committed for 9 months. It's the day before signing day. I mean, he never quits, and I think that's a big part of the process.
Well, Tyler, you'll know this is, when you get there.
That's Nick Saban don't want to tell secrets.
He's got power. And I buy that.
Yeah,
totally.
I trust me. I know some things he's done. I trust that he did that one.
Now, that was in Alabama shutting you down because they thought I was going to tell some insider stuff. I get it now.
That's literally what I said when you went off.
So 7:30 to 10:30, watch defense. Or 7:30 10, you watch defensive film. 10 o'clock until 11 is staff meeting, and then from 11 until the time you go out to the unit meetings, team meetings, whatever. It is the director of player personnel and Coach Saban in a room watching tape. And I still distinctly remember sitting in that room with him, lining up the tapes, because we used to have to do tapes. It was before the digital and all those kind of things. And we'd get to some kids. I'm like, we've literally watched this kid 7 times, and he's watching every play like it's got a life of its own. And I'm like, I get it now. But at the time, I'm like, this kid's a great player. Why are we watching this kid again? But he was right.
You know what technology you missed out on that you could have finagled the system? So I was guilty of this because it's literally did the same thing. Him and I are like, there's only like 4 of us out there. We had the exact same job at Alabama, right?
Yep.
And so if I liked a kid and Nick was kind of so on him, I would go in the room, and so it's digital now. Now
Yeah.
what he's talking about was tape. You couldn't do it. I'd get him to put the good clips in the front.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to listen to it. And so because you're not watching a highlight tape, you're watching an eval tape. But I may or may not have manipulated a couple of eval tapes to kind of boost the guy I really liked up the board for Nick. So I may have done that. Sorry, Coach Saban. All right, the Tennessee Volunteers.
I think the question mark's obviously replacing Hendon Hooker. Can Joe Milton be as consistent as Hooker was? He looked very good in the whole game. Can he do it game over game? I think that this is probably the one more season where they don't have the depth exactly where they want it to be. Other than that, that's about it. I think he's done a remarkably good job in a short period of time, and they sort of dodged the NCAA bullet. And I think it's a program that's on the rise with a rocket behind it.
No doubt. Geoff, what you got, baby?
Yeah, and I've had to coach against Josh twice when he was the head coach at UCF, and different quarterbacks, but still makes it work. So I literally watched the Clemson Tennessee game probably 2 days ago, riding through Switzerland on a scenic ride on the Peloton, and I just was impressed with how they play the game. And I think Joe's got a ridiculous arm, and they'll find the ways to score a lot of points. And I think they've got a lot of defense coming back and added some key transfers on the defensive side of the ball. So I think it's the Saturday before Thanksgiving, Georgia goes up to Knoxville. That's going to be, that's got to be, I got to imagine that's college game day, and it's a big time event.
Yeah, mine is the only, and it's not even a question or a concern. The only thing I'm curious about is, the replacement wide receivers lost a lot of talent to the draft last year. Some big time playmakers, how they replace those, they will. I just want to see it. I haven't seen it. I think Milton, the one thing that I do think that gets lost in the Joe Milton stuff, because everybody's like, well, he's taking this long to play quarterback and all that stuff. Their vertical passing game is a huge part of what they do, and they got a guy that can get it out there. And having a guy that can get it out there, and which Geoff knows, because it's one of the most frustrating things for defensive coordinators is when you have everybody covered up for 10 minutes, and then a guy can throw it over the top for after he's been running around for. This guy can extend plays not only with his feet but with his arms. So that's a dangerous thing.
The kid behind him, Iamaliva, man, everybody around that program.
That kid can play.
And I'm not talking about just like the homers and stuff who say everybody's great because they're wearing orange. I'm talking about people who are pretty objective. They just rave about him.
Yeah, Milton, he'll be fine obviously this year, but the future is in such good hands. I'm a huge believer in that kid. I like everything about him as a football player. I think Nico's going to be a guy we talk about with reverence in the upcoming years.
Yeah.
All right, South Carolina Gamecocks.
Don't have a ton of questions. Actually, this is kind of my surprise team. If you told me that there's a team that sort of shocks, like wins 9 or 10 games and people are raving about them. You know, I was talking to some people there. I talked to Spencer Rattler in Nashville. I like everything about him. You know, and you remember back when he was recruited at Oklahoma, and it's not that he sucked at Oklahoma. They ran into some tough times, but he kind of overcame that adversity. And you go back and look at the way
he grew up.
You look at the way they finished last season. They were really, really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, the question is obviously you're competing in the same division with Georgia. It's, do you have enough depth to compete? Do you have enough frontline talent to compete? And the answer to both of those questions in terms of winning the division is probably no. But are they going to be a really good team? I think so.
Yeah. Jeff, what you got, babe?
Yes, and Shane and I are dear friends. We were GAs together back in 2000. So that's a 23-year-long relationship. And think the world of him. I got to go be inside the program during the season. I went over and visited those guys, and just the relationships that he's built with every single one of those players in the building, the way the staff, vibes together and coaches their guys in the meetings out on the field. And then Clayton White, their defensive coordinator, was my DB coach when I was the defensive coordinator at Western Carolina. So I've got a lot invested in those people, and just want to see them be successful, because they're some of the finest people in the game.
Did you see the marketing thing they did where they did a playoff on The Office where Michael Scott was trying to
they're
break
the best
speed
at the
record? They're
stuff,
geniuses.
Yeah.
It was. I love The Office. I've watched The Office I think 706 times now. I had tears coming out of my eyes. It was so funny.
Yeah, I think for me, I think they're going to be a very, very good football team. And like we talked about before, if I had a concern, it has nothing to do with South Carolina. Their schedule is a motherfucker.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard.
They got to go. You got usually in the SEC, you always have 4 non-conference games, but you got usually 4 of them that you got a chance to go get them.
Sure.
Well, it's every single year, and Jeff knows this because he had when he was the head coach at Georgia Tech, he had the out of conference with Georgia every year. But they have to play Clemson.
Who the hell made y'all schedule last year? By the way, I mean, I'd hate that guy if I were you.
No comment over there. He's going to lose his connection here in a second. But South Carolina, they got to play North Carolina week 1. They got to finish the season with Clemson. That's 2 non-conference games. Then you got to go play an SEC schedule.
Yeah.
But look, I think they're going to be a really good team. I think they're making the steps. He's getting better every single year. And to be honest, this is something I was thinking about the other day. I like what they're doing NIL-wise. I love everything they're doing marketing-wise. I'm a big fan of Shane Beamer. I'm a big fan of the staff. I like everything they're doing. If I was a recruit, that's somewhere where I would want to go play.
Yeah,
like if my kid ended up, if my child was being recruited, that's somewhere where I would want him to go investigate to play.
Agreed.
And when you walk in that building, Tyler, it's real. It's genuine.
You can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell when people are bullshitting and being phony, and you can tell when people are being real. They're being real. Like I like what they're doing. And I'm not.
His dad was that way at Virginia Tech too. I mean, guys played hard for him.
Yeah, no, he's a stud. I like him. All right, my Florida Gators. You see how I said my Florida Gators there, Jeff?
Yeah.
If I have a concern, it is that place can get really caustic. But this is my view from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
When things aren't going well, it can get super caustic, and I just get a little concerned for them with the schedule being hard and who they have to play and the expectations. I just get a little concerned that it could just turn into just a really toxic environment around them. And so he's going to have to be able to do that thing where it's, hey, don't listen to anything outside of these walls and stuff. And it's one thing to say that, and I realize why coaches say that. It's another thing when young people are walking. Hell, we're all doing it now. We're all walking around with one of these. It's hard to not hear what's happening outside of the walls.
All right, Jeff, what you got?
Yeah, so I was there 2 years and had top 5 defenses.
That's Florida fans.
Florida's pissed off now.
Florida's pissed now. We're pissing off everybody.
You always say we're going to piss everybody off. And this is the one time that I think we're doing it.
Hey, I didn't think the Gators were going to shut me down, fellas.
Have you noticed that every time you start talking about a school or aliens, it cuts off on you?
It's amazing. But so this will be a twofold answer. I went down on the way to Disney. We stopped in Gainesville, went by the new facilities. They are ridiculous. If you've not seen them alive and in person,
I haven't
incredible facilities, great staff. I think the hiring of Austin Armstrong was a great hire, up and coming, big time defensive mind, energy, juice, passion, all those kind of things. But the thing that gives me confidence about what Billy's building is during spring ball, I got asked to come to Louisiana Lafayette and be involved in that program for a couple of days and watch practice and sit in meetings and all those kind of things. And just the culture and the vibe and the way they work, the way they approach the game, that Billy put in place, and now it's continued with Coach Dez. It was impressive. I mean, I was there and I was texting a bunch of my guys that were with me at Temple, and I'm like, this feels like what we had at Temple. And so just knowing that he built that there, and, I think Billy can do it. I believe in what the direction he's going in, and they're crushing in recruiting right now, and, they're going to have attention to detail. They're going to play hard, and, just excited to see what he can do, as he continues to build it.
Well, I have stated on this podcast, and I will be reminded of it, I imagine.
Yeah.
They are my surprise team in the SEC. I think they're going to be, and I've said this. I said it on your board not a couple weeks ago. If you look at Nick Saban assistants in year 2 and the improvement between every one of them go around 500 or whatever in the first year, and they jump. He did the same thing. I mean, it's every single one of them. Every one of them. I mean, Lane himself, who didn't pay attention more than 5 minutes in a meeting, okay? He was tuned out from the second he walked into the staff room. But he got hit in the head hard enough with what was going on in the staff meeting that he went 5-5 or 5-6 in the first year and went 10-2 in his second year. But when you're trying to establish the process, of getting the players to understand what that means and how to and truly changing a culture, it takes time. So I'm a believer. I'm betting with a trend. I love Billy. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. I'm call me a homer. If I'm biased, yes, I am biased. I'm going with my Florida Gators. All right, Kentucky.
Just schedule. Schedule's brutal. I actually think that getting is it Liam
Cohen?
Cohen, yeah. I think getting him back is going to be a positive for
Big
them. I think Devin Leary, probably somebody that Geoff saw in the ACC. Yep. I think Devin's going to be a good quarterback for them. I don't think there's going to be the big fall off at quarterback that some people are talking about. I just worry about the schedule, guys. I just that they have a period in their schedule of like 4 or 5 weeks that just, I think near the end, that just looks brutal.
The SEC.
I mean, it's Georgia and Alabama.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, boom, 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 and that just wears on you when you don't get a chance to breathe.
Yeah.
Someone's got you down and they hit you, and you keep waiting for the bell to ring so you can get back to your corner, and the bell doesn't ring.
All right, Geoff, I'm so interested in your answer on this one.
Yeah, so I went up there during spring ball on the way to the combine. Didn't get to see a practice, but having watched Devin for a couple of years, great player, quarterback, great arm. Watching him I don't know him personally, but just watching how he affects everyone around him on the offense, on the defense, the team as a whole, was always impressed with him. And then I'll co-sign, that I think getting Liam back is huge for the offense.
Yeah, that's the thing with him. Nobody's even talking about Devin Leary. Like, I don't know if they didn't watch the kid play or not. They were undefeated. Yeah, but they were undefeated at NC State before the kid gets hurt. Right? I mean, that last year, they were undefeated before he gets hurt at NC State. And I like Liam Cohen. I don't know because there's so many 50-50 games in the SEC where it's such a small margin. So you could sit here and go, oh, they're going to win this game or they're going to win that game. But I like what they're doing. I'm kind of excited to see where they go and what they do.
Potentially huge NFL news breaking today. Potentially huge NFL news breaking today. I just saw it. Joe Burrow just got carted off the practice field in Cincinnati.
All right, so I could be wrong. I saw that on the Welcome to the Podcasting World here when breaking news occurs here, Geoff. But I saw somebody in the chat say that, and I see the video of him going, I don't know, man. It says it's his calf. He probably cramped up, and they got $200 million invested. I don't.
Well, I certainly hope so.
I don't know. He'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, grabbing his calf, according to a Bengals beat writer.
I'm watching the video. I mean, he'd be all right. All right, Vanderbilt. Now, Geoff, that Neal has a very strong connection with Vanderbilt because his brother is the head football coach at Vandy. Do you know that? That's Clark,
I did not know.
That's Clark Lee's half brother, Neal McCready.
Yeah, we were separated at birth. I mean, I think the big concern, obviously, for Vanderbilt is when you look like Clark does, there are going to be so many modeling agencies that are going to come after you, so many supermodels, even though he's a happily married man and everything's good. It's just the sheer distraction of all of the demands on people just wanting to be seen with you, that makes it really hard to focus on football. Even though he's going to try, there's just going to be so many people because of how incredibly handsome he is that I just think in the end that stops them from being able to get, SEC championship.
Does Kate Upton distract him as well?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know this, but I've heard it. So I can't confirm it, but I've heard that Kate Upton has he calls like once every 2 or 3 days and says, I will leave Justin Verlander for you. I will leave for you. And that's a lot.
That's a lot for any man to handle.
That's a lot for any man to handle because you know that he's got to disappoint Kate Upton, and she seems like such a nice person. I mean, I just think that's a lot. That's all I'm thinking. I mean, you can laugh at me, but look, last year they won 5 games. If he'd been a guy with the full head of hair, they probably would have won 8 or 9.
All right, Geoff, that was expert opinion there.
So, and I don't know as much about Vandy, so I don't want to, gas anything up or anything. But I do know AJ Swan, the quarterback, recruited him. He's an Atlanta kid, played for Hustle Inc. Think the world of him, and thought he hit a stride down the stretch for him. And, just excited what he can do, the next year as being QB1.
Yeah, mine's really easy on Vanderbilt, which we've talked about before. I think they have to go undefeated in non-conference play.
For sure. That game at Wake, they have to win it.
Got to win the game at Wake. That'll put them at, they got Vegas, which, Barry Odom's out at UNLV now. Be interested to see how that goes with the portal and everything else. But they start out at Hawaii. They play week 0, so they'll be out the gate here before too long. But 4-0 in non-conference play will give them a chance. I think they'll be more competitive. I think he's building as they go. All right, last team.
All jokes aside, I do think, talk about culture and stuff, I think they are actually, as hard as that job is, and it's a hard job, obviously, I do think they're building a level of culture there that they haven't had in a while. And it's going to take more than culture, I realize, to win games. I get it. But you have to have that at a place like that. At a place like that, you have to have a lot of synergy, and you have to have an administration that's going to give you a long time. And I think that one is, and I think they are building culture and synergy. And at some point, I won't be surprised if they pull off a pretty big win that we look at and go, wow, did you see the Vanderbilt score?
No doubt. All right, last one right here, Geoff, and then we're going to get you lightning round, and then we're going to get you out of here. We'll wrap up the show. The Missouri Tigers.
It's quarterback play. They've got a pretty talented roster. If you look around, they've got players in all the different position groups. Your boy Chris Abrams-Drain, good player. They've got players sort of all over the place. I don't know that they have a proven guy at quarterback who can sort of put it all together. But if they do, if they get some quarterback play, I think they could be one of the surprises.
He wasn't good enough to play here.
You're talking to the wrong person. I didn't stop it. I didn't do it.
All right, what you got? That one still bothers me if you can't tell. From Spanish Fort. See, I got cut off on that one. That was Lane cutting me off on that one. Wasn't good enough to play here. See, that was Lane. Lane cut that one off. He didn't want me to tell him that he didn't like the guy.
I spent a lot of time bashing their visiting locker room, and nice people out in Columbia shut me off, man. It is what it is. But I watched literally the other day, watched the Missouri versus Georgia game. And, the takeaway from that is they play really, really hard, and, they get after it. They're not intimidated by what is arguably, or not really, arguably, they've won the last 2 natties, and the best team in college football, and they went toe to toe with them, and so just excited to see what they can do in this next, having that full off season under Coach Drinkwitz, and see what they can do.
Yeah, I think probably the most untalked about team in the league, probably, and that deserves more talk, I guess.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of close games last year. He's talking about that Auburn game when the guy fumbles the ball going. I mean, that's
literally drops the ball.
Drops the ball.
Yeah.
A lot of close games, and when teams lose close games, and they got everybody back, they're not that far away. So I'll be interested. I'm with you. Quarterback play has got to be to take them to the next level.
Yeah.
Quarterback play
to get to 8-9 wins.
All right, Geoff, we're going to do lightning round. We're going to get you out of here, brother. I appreciate the hell out of your time. It's been a blast. All right, so lightning round, beach or mountains?
Beach.
I'm with you on that. Truck, car, or SUV?
We're a SUV family.
There you go, gas guzzlers. I'm on team gas guzzler too. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I'm gonna say no. We actually had this debate July 4th down at the beach, and the sticking point is if it's 2 pieces of bread or if the bread can be attached, whatever. My argument was any kind of cased meat can't be a sandwich. So that was the part that that was my argument. I don't know that I won it.
That's a good argument that I've never heard before.
Is salami a cased meat?
No. Who eats salami though? By the way,
what about bologna? Is that a cased meat?
It is a cased meat. So a cased meat that remains cased.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
That's
All right.
There we go. All right. We're good.
We had problems here.
All right. This is where my brain's at today. All right. Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok?
I'm going to say Instagram right now. I'm surprised you're not adding threads in there.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Are you on threads? Have they started it yet?
As a passive observer.
Okay. They've started it.
Yeah, they started.
They did.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
I haven't looked at it. All right. Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I'm gonna say Barbie. I've gone to see it with my 7-year-old and my wife. And but as I'm there, I see 2 of my former players in the popcorn line, the candy line, and I ask them what they're going to go see, and they're going to see, Barbie as well with their girlfriend. So if Division I football players, I'm good. I can say it, Barbie.
No, sir, I can't do it. I'm on. We're not doing it at the Siskey household. It's against the rules. All right, here we go. This is a very appropriate McCready and Siskey finish right here to Lightning.
Okay.
Ghost and aliens, real or not?
Does it have to be both, or can I split it up?
However you want it.
I'd say even regardless of what they say in Congress, I think aliens are real. Even if that conversation did not happen, I was predisposed to think that aliens are real.
Okay.
Ghosts, the older I get, the less I believe, except for how maybe either an alien or a ghost has affected the recording of this podcast and knocking me off. I can't tell which one it's been, but ghosts no, aliens yes.
All right. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. Maybe she's not listening. My wife informed me 2 days ago. She tells me that I'm not going to tell the whole story, but she saw a shadow figure earlier this month. Look, let's see. It's that ghost in there. It turned it off. All right. So she saw a shadow figure walk across the bedroom.
Yeah.
All right. So, that's the ghost now messing us up.
Yes.
Right, so my wife sees it. She tells me.
My daughter, for your notice, my middle child, my daughter believes that there's a ghost that inhabits her room.
Okay.
All right. So we'll talk about other stories, but my wife informed me 2 days ago. She told me about a month ago she thought she saw a shadow figure, and I was like, "Oh, you're dreaming, whatever, whatever." And then she informed me yesterday that she's seen it 3 more times in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, you told me the one story.
It's since that story.
Is it
same
the
story?
same?
Yes.
Same.
Yes.
Sell the house, brother. Sell the house.
I just bought it though. Anyway,
if that ghost is if she's
I'm
right,
okay.
If she's right, that ghost would accompany.
Yeah, I'm good
to the next house anyway.
Yeah, I'm good. I think it's an attachment. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay
Jeff's
with
like,
this.
never again. I'm never
Yeah.
doing this again.
Yeah.
No way.
Jeff, dude, you know how much I love you. I think
Yep.
I think you're one of the best in the business. Always have, from recruiting to coaching, defensive mind. I cannot wait to see what's next. I was very, I told you I was wanting you to get back in it quicker. But I know that, cause I know how good you are to the game and good you are to recruiting. And he doesn't even like what I'm saying about him. So he dipped out again. He'll come back on and be like, all right, bye this time.
That was Jeff's.
See,
that was Jeff's.
you.
No, that was
You was
Jeff's
hanging with me.
wife. That was Jeff's wife going, "Hey, don't rush him back.
Yeah, don't rush him back.
We're gonna have a season together. We're gonna go through a holiday season like normal people, just one time before he gets back in. You're trying to rush him back.
I'm trying to rush him back. But no, I think
Yeah.
whatever you decide to do next, I think it's good for the game. I think you're one of the best in the business. And it's not
Appreciate
just my opinion. It's coaches everywhere's opinion, because of how you go about your business and how good of a human being you are. And so wish you all the luck. And I appreciate the hell out of you that we finally got you on today.
Absolutely. Anytime, fellas.
I loved having you,
brother.
Jeff. Thanks.
See you, bud.
See y'all.
What a stud, man. What a dude.
Yeah, he's great. That was fun.
There's nothing else really to talk about. We got a bunch of stuff we can go over later.
Yeah, we'll let this PJ Fleck thing. I know you wanted to get to it. We'll let this marinate for a weekend.
Yeah, we'll
and
tease it.
We'll see what comes of it. I have a fear that in this. I don't know PJ Fleck. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's the greatest guy in the world. Maybe he's the worst guy in the world. I don't know. My concern is when you read these stories in the environment that we have created in our culture today.
Yep.
You are so guilty until proven innocent. And even then, by the time you prove that something's not exactly the way it was presented, the damage has been done, and there's a desire to go get virtue by removing someone. I'm not saying Pat Fitzgerald didn't deserve to get fired, did deserve to get fired. I'm not there. I don't know. I just don't know that anymore anybody gets what's the word I'm looking for? Just sort of due process.
Yeah, just for people, we'll talk about it on Monday, but it's Front Office Sports. Writer AJ Perez wrote an article about the culture at Minnesota, a hit piece on PJ Fleck. Read it. We'll talk about it on Monday. Also, because I've been hit 47 times in the chat, we're just not going to have time today. Hit me up. You can email me, Twitter, I don't care. UFC 291. This goes into the subject of, we're going to have a segment every week called Things That Neal Could Get Two Shits About, where we put golf and UFC. But UFC 291, great card this weekend with Gaethje and Poirier 2 coming out.
They're saying Achilles on Burrow.
Oh, if it's Achilles, he couldn't walk like that, huh?
Oh, Kobe Bryant walked to the other free throw line and
he did that.
Shot a free throw.
I agree with that. I'm with you there. If it's Achilles, woo!
What do you even do in that scenario? I mean, obviously, you go from Super Bowl.
Where did you seriously see that?
Yeah, it's kind of on Twitter's medical people who are watching it say it looks like an Achilles.
Oh, I'm going to lose my mind.
Someone says calf strain and or Achilles. He doesn't. Well, no, he says he doesn't appear to want to step through on that second step, but could be just because of calf pain. We'll just have to wait on more news.
You can't do that to me. That's playing with my emotions. You can't go calf strain to Achilles tear. One, he needs a Gatorade. The other one, he's out for a year. Come on, man. That's irresponsible.
I'm not
reporting.
cheering for it.
I know, but I'm talking about that's irresponsible reporting. One, give the man a Gatorade. The other, give him.
Well, there's a lot. But there's
off.
a lot of people out here that are doing this.
Who's the Bengals' backup quarterback this year?
I don't know because they got Allen's gone, right?
I'm Googling as we speak.
Not that it would matter.
Sure enough, I put Bengals backup quarterback, and it's one of the top searches on Google right now. How about that? Trevor Siemian.
Oh.
Good luck to you. It does say Brandon Allen.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know who it is. I bet you if he goes down, I bet you our good friend A.J. McCarron gets a call.
Oh, that would make some sense. Yeah, that would make some sense. that you'd want a veteran in there to, at the minimum, support whoever it is. Is Mariota with anybody now?
All right, so we got it. He's going. I'm not going to say who you are. We have a listener of ours that is a what's the way to put this? He is a medical professional that deals with athletes who listens to our show. He just texted me a tweet that says, "By distance video, appears to be a right calf muscle strain. Doesn't appear to be the Achilles. This is the non-ACL side. Could miss significant training camp time, and gastroc strains due to linger." So I'm going with my guy there. I'm gonna have a rough weekend if it's my man Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I will too, because I enjoy the Bengals. It shows you too. It just reminds you that, man, you can think in any sport, right, that you have this window wide open, and just because sports are so cruel, that the window sometimes is not as open as you think it would be, or that it should be, or anything. You just never really know. And so when you have an opportunity, you try to grab it that moment.
The worst thing, we'll end on this, but the worst thing that drives you nuts about all this stuff is football is a dangerous sport, right? There's so many injury risks and all that stuff. And when you see a guy get like legit hurt, just running through a drill, like a non-contact that has nothing to do with getting tackled, that he could be doing walking to the car or something, it's just very frustrating. But it is what it is. All right, you got anything else, Bubba?
No, I don't. Appreciate everyone being with us all week. We'll this tentative Ole Miss Media Day is Wednesday, which is great news, so it won't interrupt with what we were doing. So we'll be back on Monday with another edition of McCready and Siskey, brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. I do want to tell you a couple of people that also participate in sponsoring this show: Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. I'll have the hand raised guys brought to you by Comer and Southern. It might be today. It might probably be tomorrow, but it's coming before the end of the week. It's hot out there. If something goes wrong with your AC, get in touch with the people at Comer and Southern. In Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, call Southern. Call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you're in Hernando, Memphis, or that area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. And as always, we're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, and zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. So check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. For Tyler, I'm Neal. Until next time, take care.